Hi, good morning everyone. Welcome to Wilton. And today we are going to talk about ecoenzyme. So what is ecoenzyme? Let's look at what it is in front of us. So let's look at it. This is all the food scraps from the kitchen. So here we have orange peel, lemon peel, apple pit, rotten vegetables, banana peel, zucchini, stem that's not consumable by human beings, pineapple peels, capsicum pit and seed, and some other raw ingredients. That is, all ingredients are raw, not cooked, and no oil. By throwing it away, we are actually creating a lot of pollution to our environment. So what can we make full use of it with all these food scraps that we produce every day and 3 times a day? Alright, now the first step is done. The second step, we need some water from the tap and a plastic bucket with lid. And today we are using a 5-liter bucket. To determine how much water we are going to add into the bucket, we need a measurement. So for a 5-liter bucket, we can only fill it up with 60% of water. So that is 3 liters of water into this bucket, about 60% full. So now we put the bucket onto the scale and we tare it. And we can start adding water. Five liters of bucket to fill it up with 60% of water, that is about 3 kg. 3 liters equals to 3 kg. Oops. Okay, that's almost done. So the water fill up 60% of the bucket. So after filling up the bucket with 60% of water, that equals to 10 portions. This 3 kg of water equals to 10 portions. Then we are going to put 1 portion of brown sugar into it. 1 portion of sugar equals to 300 grams. The sugar we use must be either brown sugar, raw sugar, or jaggery. We can never use white sugar because white sugar is chemical. We need some natural sugar, and today we are going to use some brown sugar. So remember the calculation, 3 kg of water equals to putting 300 grams of brown sugar. And now we are going to add in 300 grams of brown sugar. And we are going to stir it well. So we have 3 kg of water, that equals to 10 portions, and we put one portion of brown sugar, that's 300 grams. And now the third step, we are going to put in food scraps into the bucket. We need to put in 3 portions of food scraps. That equals to 900 grams of food scraps. Remember, the food scraps must be raw, not cooked, and no oil. 0. Okay, and we will start putting the food scraps. So instead of 900 grams of food scrap, we actually added 955 grams of food scrap. But that is actually okay, as long as the food scrap it's filled up to about 80% of the container. And now we are going to stir it. We can see that as long as this is not too much, it's about 80% is filled, then that is all right. And instead of measuring 3 portions of food scraps, sometimes you may just keep adding in the food scraps until that is 80% full, and that will be fine. And for the food scraps, people have been asking me, are vegetables better or fruits better? I would say both. We have to mix both together, because the more variety it is, there will be different types of bacteria, and that makes the eco-enzyme even better. But remember, it must be fresh or rotten, not cooked, no oil. Alright? And after putting it, the next thing is we must close it tight with a lid. After closing the lid, we are going to put today's date, 30th June 2020. You may draw some very beautiful pictures because the bacteria can read it. And why the date is so important? Because for the first 1 month of the enzyme, we have to open the lid at least once a day to let the gas out, so that the bacteria has oxygen to breathe, and then to stir it again at least once a day in the first 30 days. And after that, you can actually close the lid tight and leave it for another 2 months. That would be 3 months in total. And after 3 months, the enzyme is ready to be used. So if you would like to know about how to use the enzyme, about the benefit of enzyme, and then after 3 months how to extract the enzyme, please follow our following videos about the benefits of enzyme and how to extract the enzyme. So before making your own enzyme, there are a couple of reminders you should know. The first thing is we must use plastic container like this, or this. We can never use metal because metal container is not inflatable, whereas plastic container is inflatable. When the microorganism is breathing, it needs some room for the microorganism to have air. And other than metal container, we can never use glass container because it will burst. Okay? So the second reminder is for the first 30 days, we have to open the lid at least once a day, let the microorganism to breathe, okay, and also to stir the enzyme. You can use a stick to stir, or the best thing is I would suggest you to use your own hands to stir, because when you are using your own hands to stir, it is like applying a natural layer of lotion on your hand, and usually I do it with my own hands. And after stirring the enzyme, there is still enzyme liquid remains on my hand, so I will just rub it and also rub it on my face. This is very good. So why we have to open the lid, as we say, it's for the microorganism to breathe, and why we want to stir it, because we want to make sure that the food scrap will eventually soak into the liquid during the first 30 days. Why we want to make sure the food scrap is soaked into the liquid, because if the food scrap remains on top of the liquid, it may get spoiled. Other than that, if we are not closing the lid tightly, the other bacteria in the air will also enter and spoil the enzyme. So we want to make sure two things: the food scrap is completely soaked into the water, and also keep the lid closed tightly. So if what happens if the enzyme goes wrong, goes bad, you will see that the enzyme will turn into black and it will become very smelly as well. On top of that, you may also see some worms walking or swimming in the enzyme. So what can we do when the enzyme goes wrong? You just have to add the same amount of brown sugar, jaggery or molasses into the enzyme, stir it well, and make sure you close the lid tightly. Leave it for another 30 days and the enzyme will turn good again. So that's what you have to do for the first 30 days of making the enzyme. And after the 30 days, you may leave it as it is for another 2 months. So that will be a total of 3 months. And after 3 months of fermentation, you can either choose to keep it as it is, or you filter it, extract the liquid, and use it for some other purposes. Someone asked me if I want to do a big bucket of enzyme, but I haven't got that much food scrap. How should I go about it? No worries, you just continue adding food scrap first day, second day, third day until the bucket is 80% full. Then only you put the date for the last time you added the last food scrap in. Okay? Thank you very much. See you again.